Crafty Silver TV presents Knight's Armor, and here with this week's weave is your host, Lexie Hanson.
Take camera 2.
To Knight's Armor. Today we're going to be learning how to do an elf weave. So it looks kind of like this, and when you stretch it out it kind of, shows that pattern, but you can lay it down and it looks a little different. So first I'll go over kind of what you need, and then we'll move on to actually how to do it. So first you're going to need what we call jump rings. So they look kind of like this, and you can get them in different colors. Silver and blue are the ones that I'm going to be using today. And when you order them, you can get them from Hobby Lobby or your local craft store, and they kind of come in these little packs like this. But I like to order mine because I can get the colors that I want, so I can use different colors and make it really pretty. So when you order them though, you have to look at them because sometimes they come in, just because they say green, some of them come out a little lighter. So you kind of have to pick the good colors out of it. And then you need a clasp that you're going to use for a bracelet so that you can kind of make sure that it closes and not have to actually undo a ring every time you want to take it off. And then if you're ordering machine cut rings, you're going to need one of these. It's just a metal nail file that you can file down the edges of the rings so that they close easier. And then of course your most important tools are going to be your 2 sets of jeweler's pliers. When you get them, make sure they don't have the ridges in the middle, because when they have the ridges it will actually scratch your rings. So if you're using colored rings, they'll end up looking silver by the time you're done. So you want to make sure that you're good on that. So to start out your weave, you're going to take one of your open jump rings, and I already opened all of these just because it's easier, but sometimes we can get somebody else to open them for us. We call them ring monkeys, and pretty much they just open and close the rings for you, so you don't have to sit there and open and close them, and it takes hours. So I already opened and closed a bunch. So you're going to take an open one, and you're going to take 4 of your regular closed jump rings, and you're going to put them on the open one, just like this. So they're kind of hanging on it. And then you're going to close the one that was open so that it's just like a little key ring. So it's going to have these 4 hanging on it. And then I like to lay it down so that I can see how it lays before I start putting more rings on it. So you kind of just play with it until it lays right. And once it lays right, you can actually leave that there, and I'll show you an easy way to do it instead of holding it and trying to keep it in the same pattern. So then once you get to that step, you're going to take another of your open jump rings and 2 of your little jump rings that are closed and put them on there just like you did, except this one we're not going to close. We're going to take it, and we're actually going to take the first 2 top rings, and we're just going to put the jump ring through both of the top rings. And it'll kind of look, if I can get this to work, it'll kind of look like this when you're done. It's kind of doesn't look really pretty right now, but it will. You just kind of have to keep going. So then once you get to that point, you're going to close this one, and you're going to keep doing that. And there's more things that we can do. You can make them thicker, you can make them closed so that they're not, so floppy, but we're going to take a commercial break, and I'll show you about it next.
Are you a new parent and can't find a way to make your baby stop crying? All new parents struggle with this. You need the baby translator. Put it on your baby's head, and real human language will be heard.
Oh, that's much better. Thanks, Daddy. I love you.
Thanks, baby translator.
your baby translator today.
All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our commercial. Now I'm going to show you how to keep your bracelet going and then how to close it. So you're going to keep doing the same thing that you were doing. You're just going to take one open ring and two closed rings, and you're going to keep adding to it and just go under this one, and up, and then close this one. And then you keep doing that over and over and over again until you reach the length that you want. And make sure when you close your rings, you want to kind of run your finger over them to make sure that you don't get any of the rough edges, the sharp metal edges open, so that when you're wearing your bracelet, it's not scratching your arms and, giving you little wounds. And, chainmail was originally what they used in medieval times to protect them. This is actually decorative chainmail, so it's not going to protect you from anything, so don't try and use it. So this is just going to be just for, jewelry, or if you want to make a lanyard, you can do that too. It just kind of depends on what you want to make. There's different weaves too. So what we're doing now is called an elf weave. And it's kind of an adaptation from what's called a European 4-in-1. So it's a little bit different, but it looks almost the same. And then there's other things, like there's the Persian weave that's more boxy. So it's going to be more like a thick, not as pliable, not going to move as much. And so we're doing the elf weave. And so you keep doing that. You just keep stacking on rings, and you keep doing that as much as you can, as much as you want, however long you want it. Like this could be a keychain, so you could, attach it to a backpack or anything you really wanted to do. And, you could make pretty much anything you wanted, any accessory. You could make a necklace. I've even seen people make chainmail bikinis, so it's possible. There's also something that's kind of cool, but you have to adapt your weave a little bit, and they're the same as jump rings, except they're rubber. So instead of it being like this where, it doesn't go anywhere, it actually will stretch. So you can make stretchy chainmail too, which is kind of cool because you can make stretchy bracelets and, other things that, like lanyards that you would want to not break if anything pulled on them. So I'm going to show you how to close this really quick. So you're going to just take an open jump ring with no closed rings, and you're going to do the same thing that you would if you had the two closed rings on it, and just put one ring at the end. So you can do that. And then you close it. And something cool about chainmail is if you close it and you hear that clicking, if you're doing it where you're in a really dark room where it's, there's no lights really, you can actually see it will spark. So it's kind of cool because you can see these little sparks coming off of it. And you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're just going to take the ring and do the same thing. Do one over and one under. I got that backwards. And do that. And then close this. So that way it kind of makes this cool, almost pointed edge shape of a square instead of your normal, squared edges. And then you're going to take your clasps. So I have one of these clasps just because I like it. It's kind of roundish, and you squeeze it right here to open it. So it's kind of nice because it's secure, so it's not going to pop off just randomly. I've had that happen a couple times. And so you kind of, it's really tight. So you see this little ring on the end. You're going to take that and take one of the silver rings that you put on the ends and open it up just a little bit, just enough to slide this on. And you're going to slide that on just like this and close it. And you have a nice little keychain. So you can hang this on your backpack or anything you want. Also, if you want, I go to ringlord.com, but you can too.